Hello everyone, welcome back to MalStorm Gaming. My name is Malachi Gardner, and today I'm going to be finishing up my playthrough of Enchanters, the card drafting game for 1 to 4 players. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Alright, so welcome back everyone to our game of Enchanters. And so last episode we got through the explanation of the rules and then maybe a third of the game. So we'll hopefully finish up the game in this episode, so let's just get right into it. So we have the enemy turn, and so he's going to go get the 6th card, which is another dragon, so he's getting quite a few dragons. We have an ability here that says use rest and take 1 wound and pay 1 crystal to journey to the market for the top card. So that's something we could do. That's a really expensive price, so I doubt I'm going to actually do that, but I could do that if I wanted to. And it's a water giant here, so it's fairly tough, not too terrible, just 4 health and then 7 attack. That's a lot of attack there, but we do have 5 defense, which is good. So then if we defeat it, we get 1 point for every attack we have, which in this case will just give us 1 attack, which in this case will just give us 1 point because we just have 1 attack. So let's see, what do I want to do? So I've got a skill armor of storms with 1 attack and 5 armor, and then we have quite a lot of gems here. We've got 13, so that should be plenty. Let's see. I think that I want to get more attack, so I think I'm going to go over here, pay 2 crystals, and get this of fire, because this will give us 1 attack, and then if we pay 2 crystals, we get plus 1 attack per defense we have. So this would give us 5 attack because we have 5 defense. So this is an enchantment, so it's going to go on top of our storms. So now we've got a scale armor of fire, and now our attack goes up by 1, and we don't actually lose any strats, which is good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defense, and 1, 2, 3, minus 1, so 2 attack. So that was not bad. Let's slide everything over. It's a winter wolf. Then the enemy's going to go and is going to grab the water giant. And then we can rest and take 2 wounds to journey to the market. Alright, and now we've got a short spear. So this one, when we grab this card, we target a player, and that player will unbury their bottom enchantment. Now, what is unburying? So, unburying is when you will take the card that is the bottom of whatever stack you have and put it on top. So, in this case, we have our of enchanting on the bottom here, and so right here, it's on the bottom, and if we were to unbury our of enchantment, we just take it and put it on top. And the enchanting is really bad, so that would be pretty bad, and we wouldn't want that to happen. So that is just how unburying works. We just take the bottom card and put it on top, and then burying card is the same thing. You take the card that's on top and put it on the bottom. So that is one thing that you can do to manipulate your stacks. So I actually think this of stone looks pretty cool, because it gives us 1 defense for now, but that will be covered up later, so that's not great. But we can also discard this card for plus 5 defense, which is cool, but the thing that I really like about this card is that you get 1 point at the end of the game for each defense you have. Now that's awesome, because there are a couple of the kingdom decks that are being used in this game that are focused on getting a lot of defense. So I think that this would be good to get, and it's free, so we'll be able to get some points at the end of the game. Right now, this would give us 6 points, because the of stone gives us an extra defense, but even if that's covered, it'll still give us 5 points, so that's pretty good. But again, in the solo game, you're just trying to get over 50 points, so that's a decent amount. So right here we have this of acid, which will give us 3 attack and 3 defense, which is insane, and when you get it, you have to bury the card, and then it gives you minus 1 attack and minus 1 defense. So if this is the top card you have, then it gives you 2 attack and 2 defense, because you have 3 minus 1 and then 3 minus 1. So that's very powerful. But the interesting thing is that when you take it, it is put at the bottom of your enchantment stack because it is immediately buried. So you could get something like this short spear, which would allow you to unbury that enchantment, and so you can put it back on top. So unburying isn't always bad, as you can see there. So that's an interesting card, but that would cost us 6 to get, so I'm not sure if I want to do that. You know, I actually kind of like this of blindness here. So this gives us 2 defense, and then target player unburies bottom item. So I don't really want to target myself because I unbury my fist, and that's not something I really want to use. So I'm going to target the Atoma, and just take his bottom item, which is the side here, and just put this on top. So it is unburied, and that's not really going to affect too much in the game, but I just didn't want to target myself, so I targeted him. And then I'll get 2, and then I will cover up 1 defense from the of stone, and then gain 2 more. So in the end, I actually just go by 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defense, and still just 2 attack. So my of stone is now giving me 7 points, which is crazy. All right, let's slide everything down. Got this skeleton here. Now this skeleton's interesting because he has this little skull symbol here, and this does nothing. So several of the factions actually have different symbols here that are green. Some of them have innate effects that just give you extra stats and makes you, that will change different elements of the game. For example, you've got one that makes journeying cost less money, or you've one that makes journeying cost more money. You just have different things like that. But then you also have the undead, and then I think the slimes as well. They also have one symbol where it's not really going to give you any inherent effect, except cards from that faction may reference the amount of that skull symbol that you have, and they might become more powerful or weaker or give you more points, various things like that, but it does nothing in of itself. Alright. This is going to be the 2 space, so it's going to be the goblins. Alright, got a barbarian, and that'll give us attack if we defeat it, which is nice. Alright, so looking at this red dragon here, wow, okay, so this red dragon would give us 2 wounds for every defense we have. So that would actually be really bad to take, and so I'm thinking about resting to get rid of that. So I'm tempted to take this of acid and then just hope that I'm able to also take this short spear, and then I could unbury this of acid and be really good. But if I get the of acid and not the short spear, that would be really bad. You know what, I'm going to try it. So I'm going to pay 3 crystals, and then take this of acid, and then it's immediately going to be buried, and I'm going to lose 1 of each of my stats. So down to 1 attack and 6 defense. Alright. Of protection, this is a really good card. 2 defense permanently. And then almost there, it's going to take the number 4 card, which is this skeleton. Alright, so I actually am going to be able to take the short spear, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to be able to unbury my bottom enchantment, which is this of acid. And so now I'm going to get 2 of each stat. Essentially, I'm going to recalculate all the stats after this because a lot of things are changing. So this short spear gives me 2 attack. And then I cover up a defense for my scale armor. So that was a really good turn there. And so now I'm at 6 attack and 7 defense. So I'm really going to be able to start defeating things. Alright, got a lurker, also known as a beholder. Now you may notice that the Atoma deck is all gone. So we're going to take this discard pile and we're going to shuffle this up. And then we'll just draw from the top cards. So the Atoma deck only has 12 cards in it. So you're going to need to shuffle it once or twice per game. So there we go. Alright, that's going to be the number 4 card. That's going to be the Of Protection, which is a nice card, but that would cover up my Of Acid, and so I don't really want to do that because, again, because the Of Acid does nothing for me unless it's the top card, so I don't really want to do that. I mean, actually, I take that back. The Of Acid does do something for me. When it is not the top card, it makes me lose attack and defense, so I really don't want to do that. Alright, so I actually think I'm just going to take this crystal and cash it in for 3, just to make that a little bit easier. Spend it. Then I think I'm actually going to pay 1 crystal and take this Winter Wolf. So this is 5 health, but I have 6 attack, so that checks out. Then he's going to do 3 damage to me, -7, so that's good. So I defeat him, no abilities. He's going to give me 6 points, which is great, and then I'm going to lose 1 defense. So that's pretty good. Alright, so this is an Of Holiness. Okay. And then let's flip this card over, and it's going to be the number 2 slot, so it's the Barbarian. It's going to be discarded. Okay. And then We can take out another Winter Wolf. I'll give 6 more points. This Great Axe also looks really good. We'll get 3, 4 attack, and then we'll lose 1 defense, which losing defense isn't great, but gaining 4 attack is pretty good. I think I'm going to take this Winter Wolf out, and again, same thing's going to happen. I defeat it, he does no damage to me, and then I lose 1 defense. Okay. Another skeleton. Alright, this is going to be the number 4 slot. This is of holiness here. Oops, wrong discard pile. Alright, troglodyte. So I think I'm going to rest and get rid of this red dragon. It's just not worth it for me because I have so much defense. And so I'm going to take 4 gems because of that. And there we go. Alright, so this is a Dracolich. And this is interesting because it gets +1 health and +1 attack for each of that undead symbol that I have. So that's one card that will reference those undead symbols, which are found here or on the skeleton or other cards. So that's just how they work, but they do nothing on their own. Alrighty then, let's see what the enemy does. It's going to go in the 5 slot and take the Troglodyte. So this is a nice card. It's the Of the Deep card, and it says, after using Rest, you can unbury bottom, item, or enchantment. So this will really allow us to control our cards. Alright, I actually think I'm going to go ahead and take this Barbarian. So I'm going to pay 2 and take out the Barbarian. I'm going to do him 6 damage, which will defeat him. And he's going to do me 5 damage, and that does no damage to me because I have 5 armor. And then I'm actually going to gain 1 point and 1 attack. So I'm up to 7 attack. Alrighty then, and another lurker. Alright, this is going to be number 6, so that lurker is going away. So this ogre is pretty interesting. He has no health to speak of, and he has got a formidable attack of 6, but the kicker is that he does double damage. So any damage that is not blocked is going to give me 2 wounds instead of 1. So that's crazy and very dangerous. Alright, what do I want to do? Alright, so actually I think I'm going to take the Dracolich. I'll pay 3. And then I'm going to do him 7 damage, which will defeat him. He's going to deal me 3 damage, which will be blocked my 5. And then I don't actually have any of those undead symbols, so I am all good there. He's not going to get any bonus stats. And then he's going to give me 9 points and 1 of those undead symbols. Alright, so 9 points, pretty good. Alright, number 6. So he's going to take the eye, shovel. So the shovel is pretty cool because you can use a rest action and pay 1 crystal to journey to the graveyard, which would be the top card of the stack over there. So if I had rested on a past turn and discarded a card, I could then take that card back and get it now. That's honestly a lot cooler in a multiplayer game when you have other people discarding cards to the graveyard, and they could discard a card that you want just to deny you that resource, and then you could get it back with the shovel. But even a solo game, it's still pretty cool. Alrighty, I think I'm going to rest again because I don't really want to deal with this lurker. And an interesting thing with the Automata deck is that none of their cards actually take this slot here. So if there's a card here that you don't actually want, it's usually just a good idea to rest because it'll make all the other cards more expensive. So I'll get 4 crystals, slide everything down. Alright, it's a behemoth. And so this will allow us to unbury bottom, item, and enchantment. Alright, but it also gives us 7 points, which is pretty good. Alright, so then the enemy is going to go to the number 4 slot. Take the ogre. It's a troglodyte. Alright, I think I'm just going to defeat this skeleton, which will be pretty easy. And then I can swap a card on the journey track with the top card of the graveyard. Okay. Well, the lurker is going to come back into play. What do I want to replace it with? I suppose the Great Axe. Guess having some more points could be good. Possibly. I don't know. Don't really want to defeat it, but maybe that would be something I could do on my last turn or something. Alright, that'll be number 5, Troglodytes. So this hide armor is pretty cool. It has 2 defense, but then -2 defense. So if this is a top card, it does nothing. But if it's covered by another card, then it's going to give you 2 defense. And luckily, you can bury this card as soon as you get it. So That's cool unless the card forces you to unbury it, at which point it's not any good. Alright, so I think I'm going to go and journey over to get this axe. That is going to cost me 4. And then I'll take 2 back. And then this will allow me to deal 1 damage to other players for every 2 attack I have. So, right now I've got 7 attack, and then I will deal 3 damage to every other player. So then that will end up giving me 3 positive points at the end of the game. And then I lose 1 attack because the short spear is going to be covered, but then I gain that back, and then I gain 1 defense. So in the end, that was a very good turn for me. Alright, that's 2. So that's of the deep. It's going away. And then a troglodyte, okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the shovel just to get a point. And then I lose 1 defense and then gain 1 attack. Another ogre. And then he's taking the behemoth with the from under your nose card. Alright, it's a ghoul. Now, as a minor action, you can remove this card from the game to journey to the graveyard. So, I mean, if you defeat this guy, you essentially get to journey here for free, which would be kind of interesting. Although you can get 1 point for each undead symbol you have there, so that could be good as well. Alright, I think I'm going to take this hide armor, because if you remember, I get 1 point for every defense I have, so this is going to go on the bottom here. And then I get 2 defense. Alright. Too far to even bother, it's going to be number 5. Ghoul's going to go. And that was the final card from the deck, so now we're just going to play until all these cards are gone. So we're just going to take 3 more turns, and then the game's going to be over. So, you gotta make everything really count now. Now I'm in a position that I don't really like being in, because I have no crystals, and so I can't actually journey out. So the only thing I could do is either rest or take this lurker card here. And is it, oh man, which one's better? I'm thinking actually it's gonna be better to rest. So I'm gonna get rid of that card and take 4 crystals. And now, as you may notice, we have an empty slot. So if the Atoma draws a card that would take this card here, it's just going to take this card right here. Just going to keep going to the closest one to the left. So, oh well, there we go. It actually is the 6th spot right there. So instead of taking this card, it's going to take this card right here. So now let's choose what I want to do. The thing that gives me the most points would be this ogre right here. So I think I'm going to take the ogre. So I'm going to do 8 damage to it, defeats it. He's going to do 6 damage to me, which is reduced to 0. Then his damage is going to be doubled. And so 0 times 2 is just going to be 0, so he does no damage to me. And then he has 5 points that he's going to give me. Alright, so now I'm just going to have to shuffle this deck again. Alright, and then it's going to be number 4, which is going to take the Lich. So this is going to be my final turn. So I'm going to take an action, and then the other card is just going to be discarded by the Atoma deck, no matter what it is. So, what can I do this turn to give me the most points? Okay, so I'm going to take the rest action, and then I'm going to take 1 wound, which is -1 point, and then I'm going to discard any card. So, I'm going to discard this fist right here. And even though this is one of my starting cards, I'm just allowed to discard this like a normal card. So I'm just going to place that right there. Then, I'm going to encounter this Lich. So now I'm going to do him 8 damage, which will kill him again. And then he's going to do 4 damage to me, which is reduced by 7, so it's all good. And then I am going to journey to the graveyard. So I'm actually just going to get my fist back. So I'll go on top. And then that'll give me 4 points and a undead symbol. So then I actually do need to discard this barbarian, because I did rest. And then this troglodyte's going to slide down. And then finally, this card is going to be drawn, and of course, it doesn't really matter what it is. And so it's going to go 5th slot, and since nothing's there, it's going to go 4th, then 3rd, then 2nd, and then it's just going to take the troglodyte. So now I'm going to go ahead and score all of my cards to see what my final score is. So I'm just going to count all of the revealed wreath icons. Then I'm going to subtract that from the wounds I have, and then I'm going to actually add points equal to the number of ones my opponent has, and then I'm also going to check to see if there's any scoring abilities on this village card, which there are none. So let's go ahead. So I'm just going to go ahead and count up all my scores, and I'll be right back. So I'm back, and my final score comes out to 45 points. So I was really close, but just didn't quite cross the finish line, didn't quite get enough points to win, but on the bright side, I still did have fun playing, so that's something, and hopefully next time I'll do better. And so that's Enchanters. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all consider subscribing to MalStorm Gaming to see more content just like this, and in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy gaming!